how's it going? Nick Bovey here. It's been a while since I have done any sort of video, and I apologize for that. I have no excuse other than I have been beaten over and over again by the resistance, as Steven Pressfield calls it. I have just made a huge deal out of sitting down and making a video. If you know me personally, and I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably do, you've heard me talk about my latest gear, my latest piece of gear that I've gotten, which is this awesome Hydro Flask bottle. It's great. I love it, and I've had it for about 3 or 4 weeks now, and I've taken it camping, I've taken it backpacking specifically, I've gone to concerts with it, and it's my general, I just carry it with me everywhere. I mean, I take it with me, it stays in my car, it's awesome. And so I wanted to talk, I'm going to be writing a blog post about this too, and you can check it out if you're coming from YouTube. You can check it out on nickbovey.com/hydroflask. Right now I'm just kind of talking about the things that I really like about it. First of all, I mean, I think that most people would agree that carrying a water bottle is a good thing to do in terms of an environmental cause of, you know, saving thousands upon thousands of plastic water bottles from being produced, I guess. I go back and forth as to how much of an impact I'm making, but, you know, I think if enough people are using reusable bottles, it's very likely that there will have to be some sort of change in that industry, and they might not be able to continue creating those plastic bottles that end up in the ocean. Next thing I wanted to talk about was just the you know, some of the reasons I really like it. And the first one, okay, so I've carried water bottles around in the past. I had a Camelback water bottle that I liked for a while, and it was great because it fit in my bike bottle holder thing. So when I went mountain biking, I could take it with me, but it didn't have a whole lot of room. I think it was only like 20 something ounces, and I felt like I would just drink through the water really quickly. I think that there's a lot of options out there in terms of getting a water bottle that's a little bit bigger, holds a little bit more water, and lets you go longer without having to go and refill it, which is just kind of honestly, it's, I guess, maybe laziness. A lot of it is just because I'm on the run and I don't have to stop for a second and refill my bottle that I feel like I've taken 3 sips out of for the whole day. So the optimal size, I think, is the 32 ounce size. I've had a Nalgene like this one for a while, and it's great. I love the Nalgene. I've had Nalgenes forever, and I feel like 32 ounces is a perfect amount of water to keep me going throughout the day. I know that there's places that say you need, you know, a gallon, or I can't remember what the ratio is of water to your body weight, but I know that for the most part 32 ounces is enough to keep me staying hydrated. I drink a lot of water throughout the day, and it kind of gives me sort of a way of measuring and knowing that I'm drinking a decent amount of water if I can make it through 1 or 2 of these bottles a day. The obvious choice for me in terms of water bottles is going to be something with minimum 32 ounces of water, or of space, container space. So that's one of the great things about this, is I'm able to stay hydrated, which as I was kind of looking into it a little bit, it's really, you know, there are a lot of health benefits to staying hydrated, which seems so obvious, but I think it's easy to forget about some of the benefits, including the fact that, you know, toxins get flushed from the body when you drink more. Your muscles actually get a lot of energy from that water, and so staying hydrated consistently actually helps you perform better if you are going to do some sort of athletic, you know, running or any sort of athletics at all. It's really important to stay hydrated. Again, it's pretty obvious, but I think that I forget about it pretty easily, and especially just relying on my glasses at home, it's tough to remember to go back and grab a glass of water here and there. So the second reason I really like this bottle, aside from the fact that it does keep me hydrated, I love carrying it with me, but the second reason I really like it is I feel like it is very well designed. I haven't had a chance to drop it on anything hard yet, so I don't know how well it's going to do in terms of holding up against that wear and tear. I've seen people on other sources and reviews and things like that talk about it, you know, not holding up very well because it is dual walled, and so it's a kind of a thinner metal wall, and then a wall or another separate container inside, vacuum sealed and everything. So I've heard and seen pictures of these bottles falling and getting like pretty nasty dents in them. which, you know, it's a battle scar, I guess. But I've heard that it kind of messes with its ability to keep things cool, which is one of its strong features I'm going to talk about in a second. But it's got a powder coating paint finish, which is awesome. And I've kind of decked mine out with stickers, but I love this powder coating technology. It's really neat. And a friend of mine was actually talking about it because he was doing it to his bike, and it's awesome. It's really cool. It's just I couldn't explain exactly the science behind it, but it has something to do with electricity and like I think it's charging them differently. So, you know, charging one metal like negatives and positives, and it somehow binds it together really well. But I don't. You can look it up. I'm sure there's tons of Wikipedia pages on it. I've also seen on some places, I think it was an Amazon customer that was talking about how when it got to them, this little part right here was actually busted off. And I haven't had any issues like that. Again, it just feels like really solid construction, and you know, I love it. The other cool thing is kind of the shiny metal. And these are all, I know a lot of this is aesthetic, but I really do like how shiny the metal is, and I don't know if we can get a good shot inside, but that's all pretty shiny, and I like shiny things. So, and then the final awesome, you know, the reason I really, really like the bottle, and the reason I bought it in the first place, is this thing keeps stuff cold or hot. You are able to, at least I've been able to, have this bottle. I'll put, you know, cold water, you know, ice cold water in, and it'll be in there overnight. And next day, I'm on my way to work, and I take it out, and it's still cold. Like, it still tastes like water I just got out of the fridge, which is fairly impressive. You know, I know it's supposed to be like 8 hours to, you know, I think it's like 8 to 12 hours or something of cold. You know, it'll keep stuff, it'll regulate the temperature for that long. But I've absolutely loved it. So that's one upside to that. The fact that it's got the dual walls, or you know, it's insulated or whatever. The other cool thing about it is that it doesn't sweat, so it doesn't get all like soggy or make stuff soggy. I've had that happen a lot with water, because I really like cold water. So of course I'm going to put cold water in there, and I'm going to leave it in my backpack, and then it's going to get everything in my backpack all soggy. So this does not have that issue at all. The seal is incredibly good. You know, you can kind of hear it squeaking. Put that up the mic. You can hear it squeaking, and it's just a very, very tight seal. So it's, you know, I don't have any worries about the seal ever becoming an issue. I'm actually had to record this part twice because for whatever reason the video is all messed up. So that's why I'm wearing different clothes, because it's a different day. So the last thing that I really like about this bottle is the fact that it keeps stuff really cold, or it manages the temperature pretty well. I've actually done it. I've had hot water in there, I've had cold water in there, and for both of them they've managed to keep the temperature constant throughout the day, until about 7 or 8 hours later after I, you know, put it in there. It starts to kind of come down a little bit, but it's not really, I mean, I have no doubt that if you put in boiling hot water, you know, Monday morning, it would be there Tuesday night as, you know, warmish, probably fairly warm water. It just does a very good job of insulating it. And it also makes it nice because you don't have to worry about, you know, in a lot of bottles, if you put hot water in there, it's going to burn the outside. It's going to make the outside of it, the vessel, scalding. But yeah, so I mean, I really like the fact that it's got the dual insulation. I actually was just recently doing some research on the effects of water, cold water, and I was looking at how cold water, I guess, isn't the best for a lot of things. It's not very good for you in terms of what it does to your veins. I guess there's something it does to your veins, but it's also just difficult for your system to process the cold water. Your body uses a lot of energy warming it up, which is interesting because cold water is delicious, and I really like it. So I'm kind of thinking about switching just for a little while to drinking, you know, at least lukewarm or you know, tea and stuff like that, to try and see what, you know, see if there's anything to that, or if I notice anything with it immediately, just to see if there's any sort of extra energy boost to be found there. So overall, I mean, that's probably, if you're, you know, if you like cold water, or you have a lot of, you know, you need kind of a thermos for the day, this is an excellent choice for you. I would highly recommend it. Hands down, it's so far been the best water bottle I have had and tested in terms of what it does, and I, like I said, would recommend doing it. Now, they also have a ton of, ton of other products. They've actually got beer steins or whatever you want to call them. And then they also have growlers, which are, I think, 64-ounce bottles that are all the same technology, insulated, dual insulated, and everything. So that's pretty awesome, because I'm sure, if I wanted to take a growler down to the local brewery, I could get them to fill it up and then have cold beer for a camping trip or something like that, which would be pretty sweet. So I can't remember what the price is on those, but these guys are $34.95, I believe. You can get them on Amazon. You can go to your local REI, and they should carry them. So they're awesome. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope that it was informative, and I'm hoping to do some other stuff, kind of like this, because I really enjoy talking about, different products. I think it's pretty fun. So I'll probably keep doing this occasionally. So thank you so much for watching, and have an awesome day.